Share my screen. Is the screen visible?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's talk about you know um, the counts first, and we'll talk about the rest. The reason I wanted to have this call is so that you understand what the risk that we are looking at, and based on that, if you want to kind of raise cash, close some positions which are at BE or minimal loss or minimal profit, you can do that. That's what I was trying to do in the last half an hour. Just trying to get ready for a dip. I'm not short in any way right now because there is no just confirmation. There's just one day right now. But good to kind of be proactive from that standpoint, and that's what I was trying to do, not to just stay over leveraged or anything like that. The breakouts were failing. AMD tried 163 like trillions of time and failed every time. Nvidia couldn't do more than 185, and so there were a few setups which were kind of concerning, that as they were not able to break out. So that's where my reason was that okay, probably they will kind of drop it once more before they start getting ready for the end of the year rally. Is it confirmed? Not really. It was just more or less a proactive step there, right? So that's all what I was doing. Now looking into let's go with US 500, and I'll come to SPX chart as well, because there is a little difference that I see between when I look into a US 500 or US 100 QQQ versus SPX. SPX tells me there could be a little bit more upside, but QQQ tells me that probably it is done. Right, so a few different ways that we are looking at, but there was a risk. So, like I said, so just trying to kind of get out of positions but keep a lot of positions too as well. But we do want to be ready if the dip comes or the dip starts or whatever. Then we are ready to look into and key into these positions back again as needed. Or if they break out again, then we can get back in again, right? So we're not going to lose a lot there. Now, just looking into this overall daily chart, in the last weekly review, I've talked about that the top might happen somewhere close to 6750. So 6700 was anyways achieved. We were looking for another 50 60 points upside to that, right? And or above that. So I mean, if they mark the top here, that's fine, right? But now there were a couple of ways which I was looking at this whole thing. Right, let me delete the count and recount it so that you understand. Now, if I look into this first move here, right, in the May time frame, May to June time frame, if I count this as a single one, as a leading diagram, this is like one, two, three, four, and a five, right? Then I mark this as one. This becomes my two, a three, a four, and a five is going. Right now, three was not very long, and it doesn't have to be the longest. It just cannot be the shortest, right? So it's anyways bigger than the wave one, which is fine, which kind of meets the criteria. Now, if three is not the biggest, then there are always chances that the fifth can extend, right? So if I have to go and look into that way that the fifth is extending, the way that I would look into it is going into just into 4 hour chart, keeping the same count. That what happened here. This was my one and two of the wave five right here, from here to here, wave one, two, and this probably is like one, two, three, four, maybe completed a five here. So my five probably five of three got completed here, and I'm revisiting back into 65 55 65 50 area, and after that they could be one more high, right? So that's one way of looking into it. And let's just go back to daily just to review it back again from the higher time frame. which means the price from here come and retest this daily 21 EMA around this area, 6550, go below 6601 once and test here or consolidate here in a way, and then we get one more high and we go into that 6750-ish area once more, mark that as fifth. It could be the month end rally or maybe October first week rally or whatnot, and then it goes into another correction, and that correction would be, again, that would be a correction for this whole wave, which is like this one, two, three will complete here, and then we are looking at a little deeper cut. And when we talk about deeper, it could be somewhere around 6500, it could be as deep as 6346, somewhere around here before the end of the year really starts, right? So this is one way of looking into things, where there is one more high after the 6550 is taken out and are tested, and we go there and then come back lower, right? The another way to look into the same scenario is, let's stick with daily here. That'll be easy. Um, is if Let me just delete this. Is that, this was not a leading diagonal, but it was a 1 2 1 2 nested, where we had this 1 2, and this was a 1 2 3 4 and a 5 completed here for this wave 3, and this was my wave 4, right? So this was my internal structure, which is an extended wave 3 with 5 waves, and the wave 4 happened. And now with this, we actually marked the top for this fifth wave. This is how it kind of looks on a QQQ, and I'll share with you when we go there, that you have this 5 waves here, 1 2 3 4 5, and the top is kind of marked. If this top is marked, then the sell off may not stop at 6550. It may just bounce or may just come to 6500 and bounce. You know that wave 4 is gonna take its own time with this bounces, sell, and all that, or it could just finish here, or there is the risk, the maximum risk that we are getting. 6500 may not make a lot of dent in any of the stock positions that you're holding, but if it comes down to 6346, yeah, that's another 2 or 3% lower, so, and can of course take time, right? So that would be a little bit of more painful scenario if we kind of head there. Are we heading there? I don't know yet. We might just be hitting that 6550 mark and still start to bounce back right there. But this is the max risk which I wanted to call that we are carrying. If this somehow, I mean, right now it's just a one daily candle. It hasn't even broken below the previous day low. For me to say, the top is in, it's not right. We certainly need a couple of days more to understand what's happening, what kind of pattern it forms when it, if it goes lower, when it goes lower, and it comes here, right? So it was just more or less a precautionary step, because we are heading into, that number that we talked about 6750 and all that. So for 50 points more, and if there is like a drop of another 150 or maybe 300 points, the risk reward was not that great. I mean, we could enter into those positions again at a lower cost. That's a whole idea that I was looking at. Now when you look into the same thing from QQQ perspective, coming right here. Now again, I was looking into multiple ways of doing this. Again, one is the same which I explained, that 3 and 4 was this one. This was not any 1 and 2 of a wave 5, but this was actually a 3 and 4. And we actually marked the fifth wave here, and this 5 got completed, which means what I'm looking at right now is that if this was my 1 2, my 3 got completed here, my 4 will come somewhere around, first support of course comes at 583, the bigger support, and then if it goes lower, can go lower somewhere into 571 as well, right? So either 583, 571, worst case scenario 559. So that can happen as well, but I think probably these two levels would be good enough. We'll see when it happens, but I'll say just, for now, as 574 or so could be a very meaningful correction for the end of the year rally back into 650, or so quite a big push that can come from there, right? And that's where, again, this gives us a maximum risk and reward here if it comes here. But right now, if I look into QQQ on a daily chart, QQQ did make a, first daily low here. This is, below the previous day low, right? So at least some change of character here. Not still visible on SPX, but it's visible on the QQQ, right? So that risk exists, and based on just that, I was looking at, what I said, that let's close few positions. And the other part was when I was looking into this 4 hour chart, while it was looking okay in the morning, this last candle in the last hour did create, a huge divergence here with pushing it down. Now if it starts pushing it lower, then of course we are looking at first to get somewhere in the 583 area. I mean, the first support comes right here around the 592, I think it is. Yeah, 593 right here. And from 593, slowly, it can start pushing lower, right? Into 580, 583 or so. Now, again, it depends. Is it like the wave one today? We don't know. It created a daily low. So a lower low is there. Will it just bounce tomorrow and gets restricted at somewhere around 600 or so, and then start pushing down? That's something that we have to see, right? So we have to kind of let it make a lower low, let it make a lower high, and understand what's really going on before we can say, okay, the top is in, it's not able to push any more higher, and we are kind of done, right? So a little bit of confirmation would be required. I wasn't very happy with how Nvidia was working out today. Let's review that chart yesterday, and that was the first reason which I closed some of the position yesterday, and then today below 179. Chart is loading up a little slowly. Okay. Yeah. So let's say, let's go to a little lower time frame. Now, what this could be? Let's say it's just a trap for beers today, right? Let's say it's gonna go up. First, I mean, I didn't see this as a five wave anyway. This kind of it turned into like a three wave. Okay, well, let's say I ignore that for a little bit, even for that. Right? I mean, what are we looking at? Is it like a one, two, one, two, and it's gonna explode all the way back up? I mean, that kind of pushes QQQ or SPX much higher. So again, the chances are, low, and the chances are low. Why? Because when you look into SMH, also to compare, which I've kind of raised concern in the last weekly post as well. When you look at SMH, right here now, this also kind of goes along with the QQQ, that my top of that wave 3 probably is in, right? So we counted this as wave 4 when it was consolidating. We talked about this triangle, and from this triangle, we had a very sharp rally. There was hardly any wave 2 visible or anything like that. Now when you go into shorter time frames, um we have this like a small one, two, we had this three, four, and probably either this marked the five here, or this is one, two, three, four, and it will try one more high here. But that does not mean Nvidia can have a nested one, two, and it can go to 210, 220 just right from there, because this is nothing. This is only a pullback. Maybe Nvidia will pull back from 177, 176 to maybe 180, 181, 182, somewhere around in that area from where it started pushing down, but it cannot be a lot more than that, right? So given where SMH was, SMH was right now in terms of the wave count, and the risk that was associated, that's where I think that there is a good possibility that we are very very, either we started the correction or we are very close to you know that sort of a dip. Now, what would SMH dip look like? Again, I mean, if SMH has completed this one, two, even a three, four, and a fifth wave, we are looking at again coming it back down into this particular area, around this area, around 281, right? This whole area to be retraced somewhere around, could be 281, could be 284, somewhere around in this area. It could sweep below this area as well, right? So something like that. So if that is gonna happen, what you could expect for Nvidia, now going back to the same point of what I made about Nvidia, is that when SMH was at that level of 183 or so, Nvidia was at 163. So there's nothing that stops it to become a flat correction. And this four is not completed, not this four. This four is not completed, but this is actually a C leg of the whole thing, right? So we had an a B, and then we get a very sharp sell to actually make it as a C, or this is a WXY or whatnot. But keeping the point very simple, that if we would have kept NVDL, it would have come to the cost where we bought it. We bought it around here in this area, so it would have come into the cost. You want to keep it, you can keep it. You want to sell it, rebuy it. That's totally fine. But this is what was going in my mind, that this could turn into a flat correction, and that's why I started booking it yesterday, and that's why I booked AMD as well. Now, when we are looking into AMD, I mean, this is a very, like a hard resistance here around 163, 164. If it starts going up tomorrow, it creates an FVG from there. That's a different discussion altogether. We'll look into it. But right now, it's been just holding into this 4-hour FVG right here. And it's not able to close above that, right? So there was a breakout, but the breakout did not work out as expected. AMDL has a depreciation, and it's a 2x, so that's where it was much riskier to hold that while there was in profit, making it red. So I took my 10% on that. And AMD, I'm happy to keep the stocks. I've been holding it from very long time. Even if it drops from here, let's say 164 stays the resistance, and this is something else going on and wants to go and test 133 for some reason. I don't know if that much sell it's gonna get or not, to be honest with you. But if it does, let's say it comes down to either to 142 or something like that, I'm okay to kind of hold that one. But again, you need to kind of understand the risk that I was talking about. So we should talk about that. And in a way that we will be looking into count is still a wave four, but it's just going little lower. And let's just see what the fib number looks like right now. So if I look into it, it's just really close to 23% right now. Like I said, if it goes down, it can go into that range, which is merely between 38% and 50%, right? So wouldn't be surprised if something like that happens. AMD comes back to 133 as well, right? So that's a risk with AMD. We talked about QCOM. That's most likely, yeah, it's in B. It's in a breakout. You can have a BE stop loss, or you can have a stop loss that we discussed about 163. That if it loses 163, we will cut it. We can still work with the same stop loss. Right now, I think it's a little bit green, from where we bought it. Right, so your call whether you want to keep QQQ or not. JD, we already had talked about that it's going to take a dip as a wave two, and it is taking as a dip as a wave two, right? So we would want for JD, for I was out of the JD call, so I don't have anything. But for anybody who's holding JD, I think the 3163 level, this is a crucial number. If this sell keeps on happening, this wave two, probably that would be around 61% or 78% or something like that. Right, so that area needs to hold. Yeah, so a little below 66. So 32 or 3163, that around the, that's the area that needs to hold on the JD, right? MSFT has done nothing other than doing a kind of a sideways move. I do wanted to see 532 on that. Nothing of such has happened, just chopping. Could be just a B wave, could just be an A leg of a B wave. Very hard to say. So if you bought around 500, keep that around as a stop loss, because it could be something like this, that it doesn't dip as much as it, other things dip. It could be just semis dip, but MSFT might still hold. I want to still see that 532. Otherwise, if it goes for a C leg down, then we are looking at a little bit lower. The 588 level or so, that so to be swept before it can start going up again, right? So that's where you would need to make a BE stop loss on this one. Um, so that's kind of cover, I think, the major ones. But let me see. Anything else you want me to cover while we're here?